Hi guys, welcome to my channel. As promised, I told you that I'll be doing an affordable winter perfume recommendations. So here it is. Today's video is all about warm, sensual, addictive, Middle Eastern winter appropriate fragrances. These fragrances feel warm. I love wearing them during winter. At least here in Portugal, winter hits between 1 to 10 degrees, at least where I live. So that's the kind of temperature that we are talking about, because I feel like the weather definitely makes a difference when it comes to choosing fragrances. A lot of warm, sensual, sweet, vanillas, ambers in today's video. And yeah, without further ado, let's get this video started. All right, starting up with my favorite discovery this year when it comes to Middle Eastern men's perfume. However, I am featuring it in today's video because I love this fragrance on myself as well. This is very unisex, however, leaning more masculine. And I'm talking about Amber Empire by French Avenue. Now, I know the bottle is giving alpha male energy, and I would say that yes, I do get alpha male energy. However, there's something about this fragrance that is very cozy. I would say this is a rich oriental and ambery cozy fragrance, and it's definitely screaming wintertime in my opinion. I have this fragrance for around 2 weeks now, and I've been wearing it, and at the same time I am letting my husband use it because guys, this smells absolutely incredible on him. This one smells like sweet golden amber with some oriental touches, and then in the final dry down I find the tonka and sandalwood to be very prominent, and I think it's those two notes that give this fragrance that coziness that I am truly enjoying. Now, what I noticed though is that with my husband's skin chemistry, this tends to smell creamier. So having said that, I feel like the tonka and creamy sandalwood are more prominent. However, on me, it smells more like a sweet, boozy, golden amber. Either way, I love this fragrance so much, and that just explains the nature of skin chemistry when it comes to perfumes. There are notes that appear to be more prominent on some skin chemistry, which I find very fascinating. Either way, guys, I feel like if you are like me, who loves unisex and dark amber in fragrances, you will definitely love Amber Empire. This on me lasts for a very long time. However, on my husband, I feel like it lasts and it projects more, because every time he wears this, guys, I smell him everywhere. I remember we went grocery shopping and he was on a different aisle, and I swear to you, I smelled him even if I was in the aisle next to him. So yeah, having said that, Amber Empire projects, guys. But on me though, I noticed that it lasts long, but it doesn't project as much. The reason why I'm saying this is because I keep asking my husband if he can actually smell me, and he was just like, giving an okay face. So that means not as much, because if he can, he will definitely let me know. So yeah, I just wanna tell you that difference as well. Either way, I still love Amber Empire, and I think this is really worth it because this is a kind of fragrance that a man and woman can wear. So having said that, you can share this fragrance in the household. I absolutely love it. I will say my favorite Middle Eastern perfume release for men this year. Apparently, by the way, this is duping Clive Christian's Blonde Amber. I've tried that fragrance once, and to be honest, I've completely forgotten how it really smells like, so I don't want to compare them side by side. But even though, guys, Amber Empire is a beautiful, spicy, oriental, sweet amber scent that I find to be very sexy and sensual. All right, next up is a gourmand. One thing I noticed about Middle Eastern perfumes actually is that they make good gourmands. They're good in making sweet fragrances. And the next fragrance that I'm going to talk about is Mewish by Paris Corner. By the way, I don't know about you, but I'm actually loving this bottle. Like, I'm just going to show you. I find it to be very dreamy. And for example, if you are planning to give a perfume for someone, I think this can be a good one, especially if that person is into gourmand fragrances. Basically, this fragrance is all about nutty, sweet, gourmand goodness. And I'm talking about thick honey, almonds, and pistachio. Plus, it also has that addictive orange blossom that I find quite similar to Altair or like French Avenue's Liquid Brun. So if you know that kind of orange blossom that is sweet and thick, almost like honeyed orange blossom, Mewish has that type of orange blossom. Plus nuts, sweet amber, and vanilla. I really enjoy this fragrance. I actually waited for winter to take it out because I feel like for this kind of sweetness, it has to be cold. Now, apparently, this is very, very similar to Navitu's Baklava Royale, and I own that fragrance. I have compared them side by side, and I will say that yes, the similarity is, let's say, around 93 to 95%. I find Navitu's Baklava Royale to be nuttier though, especially the pistachio. The pistachio in Baklava Royale is more prominent, but in the air, to me, they smell the same. Only when I smell them close to the skin, I notice that Mewish is a little bit muskier than Baklava Royale, but I think it is because Mewish didn't really sit that long, and my Baklava Royale is here for years. So it has completely matured to that thick, nutty gourmand that is like full-bodied, whereas with Mewish, I can tell that this has a potential to have a bolder and richer texture. Honestly, I find it actually very mass appealing, especially for those who are into gourmand scents, okay? And yeah, I find this fragrance perfect for wintertime. Once again, Mewish by Paris Corner. Next up is my scent of the day, and this is Prodigy Noir. And what can I say? This is another rich and cozy unisex scent. I would say it has the same vibe as Amber Empire. I'm saying same vibe, but they are not the same, okay? I mentioned that because I think if you love that rich and cozy unisex vibes of Amber Empire, you will love Prodigy Noir as well. Now, this is my type of unisex fragrance. I love it because it's sweet, but at the same time, cozy. To me, the most prominent notes are definitely the spices, amber, chocolate, and caramel. It is so beautiful, guys. And I'm wondering actually how come I only have this perfume now. Actually, I have this perfume for around 2 weeks along with Amber Empire and the next fragrance that I'm going to talk about. I got them from Orchid.com here in Europe. And I'm very happy to discover their online shop because, first of all, of course, they carry a lot of Middle Eastern perfume brands and they deliver here in Europe. And they have a lot of French Avenue, Paris Corner, Gulf Orchid, and Maison Nasrar. I recommend you checking out their website. I have a discount code if ever you want to save money. I'm going to link them down below. Anyway, guys, going back to Prodigy Noir, I love how the caramel blended with the spices, vanilla, cashmeran, cedarwood, and musk. It is sweet because of the chocolate and caramel. However, it is not thick textured. You know, it's not as sweet as Mewish. There's something about this fragrance that is very airy. However, it feels bold and rich. And I think that's the reason why I love it. I would say the main notes that I'm getting are caramel, tonka, and chocolate, along with that sweet vanilla, light amber, and musk. The dry down of this fragrance is quite powdery as well, and I just love it. I think if you like the idea of cozy chocolate and caramel combo plus sweet vanilla, light amber, and musk, then you will like Prodigy Noir. Now, I think this is a dupe of Penhaligon's fragrance that I'm gonna pop on the screen because I forgot the name. However, I remember the scent, and that fragrance I think is more of coffee, and I don't really get coffee here, or probably there's no even coffee at Prodigy Noir. Anyway, guys, I highly recommend you Prodigy Noir by Paris Corner, as it is a rich and cozy chocolate, caramel, vanilla, musk scent that I think a lot of you will love. I will say, if you think we have the same taste, you will love Prodigy Noir. Now, I find this fragrance unisex, however, more feminine leaning. Once again, Prodigy Noir by Paris Corner. Now, next up is a fragrance that I recently discovered as well from the website of Orchid.com, and this is Sweet Heaven Cherry by Gulf Orchid. Now, I cannot believe how come I only discovered this perfume now, because it is so beautiful. I think if you love sweet, syrupy, cherry fragrances, you will definitely love Sweet Heaven Cherry. This one smells like a tamed Khamrah with amped up spices plus sweet, syrupy cherry. And I love it. If you watch my channel, you know that I love cherry fragrances, and I actually received the extreme version of this as well. Okay, and to me this smells very similar to Khamrah. However, the sweetness is not in the same level as Khamrah, but either way, I love this as well. I didn't include it in today's winter list because the next perfume is a flanker of Khamrah. Anyway, I think I just prefer Sweet Heaven Cherry because I love the twist of it. I find Sweet Heaven Cherry more likable and more feminine leaning. As mentioned, this has a sweet, syrupy kind of cherry that lingers, okay? And I just love it because of that. I think it's a very likable fragrance. I know I mentioned that it has sweet, syrupy cherry. However, it feels light and airy. So having said that, not really like a cloying, syrupy cherry. And I love actually layering this with Khamrah Dukhan by Lattafa. So this is the next fragrance. So if you watch my channel, you know how much I love Khamrah Dukhan. I even told you guys that in my humble opinion, this is like the best Middle Eastern perfume released this year. Why is that? It is because, first of all, it's an original creation. Even though it's a flanker of Khamrah, you know, the DNA is there, but it is different. Now, this to me is a lighter and airier Khamrah plus spices, incense, and like that mandarin citrus nuance in the background. Absolutely beautiful. And I was really waiting for winter to take it out of my shelf and put it on my winter perfume tray because I find this fragrance fantastic. It is my favorite Khamrah flanker, and I think this perfume falls into the category of rich and luxurious scent. It's a kind of fragrance that doesn't smell like $30 to me. It definitely smells more expensive than what it is, and it's a sillage monster, guys. This projects like crazy. It definitely leaves a trail, and I love it for that. So I think if you are looking for like a wow factor Middle Eastern perfume that smells expensive, I highly recommend you Khamrah Dukhan by Lattafa. You have to keep in mind though that the scent profile is still like Khamrah style. So imagine boozy apple pie kind of scent, almost like a mulled wine, okay? Plus some incense, orangey nuance in the background, then you're gonna get Khamrah Dukhan. I'm already planning to use it as my Christmas Eve scent. So yes, having said that, guys, I really and truly enjoy this fragrance and I highly recommend it. My favorite from the Khamrah line. Once again, Lattafa Khamrah Dukhan. I find it unisex, however, leaning more feminine. All right, next up is another sweet gourmand, and this is Artisan Ethnique, once again by Lattafa. What can I say? This is one of their best releases this year. Basically, this smells like a cinnamon bun. Imagine a very sweet and sticky cinnamon bun. I find this fragrance extremely sexy, sensual, and warm. Definitely winter appropriate in my opinion. I think if you are into very sweet, sticky gourmands, like if that is your kind of thing, you will definitely love Artisan Ethnique. Actually, I'm not the biggest fan of very thick, sweet gourmands. However, there's something about Artisan Ethnique that I just find so appealing. I think this is one of the sexiest fragrance that I own. It has something to do with its texture. So yes, it is warm and thick. And that actually gave it its sex appeal. This literally smells like a cinnamon bun, including the cream on top, sprinkled with cinnamon powder. Now, the cinnamon powder is not too much, it's just perfect, giving this fragrance that sliced spiciness that I find very appealing. This is my favorite gourmand from the Middle Eastern perfume market. And yeah, that is Artisan Ethnique by Lattafa. Projection is outstanding as well. Same like Khamrah Dukhan, it leaves a beautiful scent trail and it lasts for hours. Definitely more than 8 hours, guys. And yeah, I find this fragrance unisex. Next up is an underrated fragrance from Paris Corner. I feel like I'm the only one talking about this fragrance. This is Zodiac Lunaris. Now, basically, this is like a sweet leather oud scent that I am just enjoying so much. In the beginning, I also get some iris in here, kind of like lipsticky. However, it is just in the background. To me, this is more of like a sweet leather, and I'm talking about sugary and at the same time caramelized leather and oud combo. It starts off quite spicy. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and cardamom are definitely prominent. However, as it dries down, a sweetened leather, oud, patchouli, and benzoin takes over the scent. This is a beautiful winter scent, and I find this fragrance as well quite sexy. I would say in the same ballpark as Amber Empire. It is a sexy unisex scent. Apparently, it is duping Maison Crivelli's Oud Cadenza. And if you watch my channel, you know how much I love Oud Cadenza. Now, as a dupe, I will say 85 to 90% similar. Oud Cadenza is definitely smoother. However, as Zodiac Lunaris dries down, it becomes extremely similar to Oud Cadenza. But then, I know not a lot of you have patience for that. Either way, guys, I think Zodiac Lunaris is a beautiful scent. I will highly recommend it just for the fact that it is my kind of scent. It is warm, spicy, sweet, leather oud, benzoin, and patchouli combo that I think is perfect this winter time. Performance is above average, it lasts, and it projects. Once again, Zodiac Lunaris by Paris Corner, and I find this fragrance unisex. All right, now after all of those warm, spicy scents, I need a good, warm, and sweet vanilla. So I chose Paris Corner's Eshal Vanilla. Basically, this smells like a sweet, sugary kind of vanilla that I think will be perfect to tone down any kind of spices or any kind of woodiness that you find sharp. This perfume is good on its own. However, I feel like I need to have it on my winter perfume tray because it is good with layering, or it is good in taming down any kind of harshness in a perfume because of that sugared vanilla scent that it has. This is a spot on dupe of Kayali's Vanilla 28. I have Vanilla 28 and I have compared them side by side. In the air, they smell exactly the same, guys. I think the only difference that I notice is, once again, if I put my nose on the sprayed area, because Eshal, close to the skin, smells muskier, whereas Vanilla 28, which I think has matured enough already, is more of that sweet vanilla essence that you used in baking with added sugar. I highly recommend you Eshal Vanilla if you're looking for a good winter vanilla staple in your collection, because this is good on its own, very likable, especially if you are a vanilla girly, and at the same time, a very good layering scent. It's such a likable sweet vanilla as well. So yeah, highly recommend it to be on your winter perfume tray or on your winter perfume wish list. Once again, Eshal Vanilla by Paris Corner, and I find this fragrance feminine leaning. Also, I will say that if you are thinking of gifting someone a perfume, I highly recommend you Eshal Vanilla, because this is a kind of scent that is extremely likable in my opinion. Plus, of course, it's vanilla. So having said that, it is a very likable note as well, and it's pretty much a straightforward scent, not complex at all. So having said that, very mass appealing. Oh, and this fragrance lasts for a very long time as well, and it leaves a beautiful scent trail. I really like it to the point that I don't feel like I need to purchase a bottle of Vanilla 28. All right, guys, last two. Next up is Mahd al Dahab by Arabiyat Prestige. Now, what can I say? I know a lot of you have bought this after my recommendation. This is basically a warm, spicy, citrusy, boozy scent that I find very sexy and sensual. It also has that chocolate aroma in it that I'm loving so much. So this basically smells very citrusy and boozy at the same time. So yes, it is quite complex. If you think we have the same taste in fragrances, meaning you love warm, spicy, and sweet unisex fragrances, you will definitely love Mahd al Dahab by Arabiyat Prestige. This is a beautiful, citrusy, aromatic, creamy amber vanilla scent that is addictive and very sensual. I would say an amazing winter date night scent. This falls in the same ballpark as Amber Empire, as I find it rich, cozy, and addictive. Just keep in mind that there's something about this fragrance as well that is quite green because of the cypress, and I find that cypress to be quite prominent in here. However, it doesn't bother me, but I know that there are people out there who are actually not into any type of greenness in their fragrances. But to me, I love it because I think the cypress gave this fragrance freshness. It is quite boozy and citrusy at the same time as well. So that greenness actually balances it out. In my humble opinion, this is such a beautiful, sexy, sensual winter date night scent. Apparently, it is duping Born to Stand Out's drunk lovers. I have tried that once and I can confirm to you that they are similar, okay? However, I haven't compared them side by side, so I cannot tell you how close they are. But I remember when I was in Dubai and I tried Born to Stand Out drunk lovers, I was definitely reminded of Mahd al Dahab. So there you go. But honestly, scent wise, I think Mahd al Dahab is fantastic, especially if you are looking for a sexy and sensual scent to wear this winter time. Once again, Mahd al Dahab by Arabiyat Prestige, and I find this fragrance unisex. Projection wise, I would say it lasts on me around 6 to 8 hours. Projection is quite good for the first hour until it becomes moderate. It stays longer on clothes. And last but not the least is Teriaq Intense, guys. I cannot forget this fragrance in today's list because I truly enjoy it. In my opinion, this is one of the best releases last year as well. And I'm so happy to finally take it out of my shelf and put it on my winter perfume tray. Basically, this is a boozy plum, cinnamon, amber, tonka bean, and benzoin combo that I find very addictive. In my opinion, this is such a sexy and sensual date night scent for women as well, just like Mahd al Dahab. But Teriaq Intense though is not unisex because I find this fragrance quite sweet. So yeah, that is the difference. So if you're the type who's looking for a sweet and sensual Middle Eastern perfume that is more feminine leaning, then I highly recommend you Teriaq Intense. If you are into boozy scents, you will love it. To me, this smells more of like a plum liqueur with some spices and resinous nuances coming from the saffron, amber, and benzoin. Those are the standout notes to my nose. And I love this fragrance because not only it smells good, but the performance as well is outstanding. This easily lasts on me more than 8 hours, especially if I overspray on clothes, and it also leaves a sillage everywhere I go. I still remember that I wore it in the Christmas party of my kids last year, and I heard people were whispering, wow, it really smells good in here. Someone smells really good. And you know us, frag heads, if we hear something like that, we know that it's us, but we keep it low key. Yeah. Anyway, that is my experience with Teriaq Intense. Love this fragrance, and I highly recommend it if the sound of a plum liqueur, sensual amber benzoin, slightly earthy patchouli combo sounds appealing to you. Once again, Teriaq Intense by Lattafa. So that is the video for today, guys. Those are my top Middle Eastern winter perfume recommendations. Let me know if you've tried any of this. If you haven't watched yet the niche version of this, I'm gonna link it up in here. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, guys, and see you on my next one. Bye!